Welcome back to Big 12 Media Days here in Dallas, Texas. Jesse Newell alongside Matt Tait, KU football beat writer. Matt, KU is taking the podium Tuesday at Big 12 Media Days. What are you looking forward to?
Well, Charlie Weiss, right? I mean, isn't that what everyone's looking forward to? Number one, he's new. He's the new guy on the block. Obviously, West Virginia, TCU, new coaches in the league too, but they're new teams, they're new programs. KU's been in, and now they have a new coach, and his name's Charlie Weiss. And I think a lot of people, national media, et cetera, are very excited to see who this guy is. And we've gotten a taste of who he is over the last 7 months being back in Lawrence, but I'm also pretty excited to see who he is on this stage. It's different sitting in his office with him or sitting at a press conference in the Anderson family building. You know, being on this stage and in front of all this fanfare and hoopla, it's going to be fun to see what he brings, and I think he's going to steal the show. I think he's going to be equal parts charismatic, comedic. I think he's just going to be everything that we've seen, and maybe even a little more. He might turn it up just a notch.
He might be more Charlie Weiss than even we're used to.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And this is KU's day to shine, really, because we've talked about this, and we talked about it in the podcast we did last week, just that KU has not been a big story in this event.
Right.
For a couple of years now, because KU has not been good at football, and the Turner-Gill thing kind of wore off. So all of a sudden, you bring in a big-name coach like Charlie Weiss, this could be a big day for KU.
Yeah, well, and, forget the things like Charlie Weiss's take on Kansas and recruiting and winning at KU and taking over a program that he has to rebuild. Forget those things. I mean, that's stuff that matters to us and the KU fans, certainly. But, all of a sudden, KU's got a guy who people are curious about on a number of topics. I mean, if the Tim Tebow thing had been going on like it was last year with the Broncos and Charlie Weiss was the head coach of KU then, people would have asked him about Tim Tebow. Now, people will ask about different, national trends, whether it's the NFL or just college. So I think we'll get maybe a dose of that tomorrow, too. A lot of these writers have probably been sitting there kind of scribbling down a few thoughts, and we have different agendas. We're trying to cover this team, but they're trying to get different stories covered and get a new, fresh take on a certain angle. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what people throw at him, and it could be all the way from Tim Tebow all the way down to, recruiting Texas junior high schools. I don't know.
It could be really anything. And then also Charlie Weiss bringing along with him Tanner Hawkinson, Tobin Opurum, Dane Chris, the three captains for KU, pretty much as we expected.
Absolutely. And, they'll be great representatives. Tobin's from the area, so I got to think. I've always thought that, last year with Jeremiah Hatch being from this area as well, he had a little extra bounce in his step. His family was here with him. They were able to spend some time, and they even sat in the lobby while he was doing his thing in the media room. So I'm sure Tobin's got a little extra juice. Tanner's a Kansas kid, and Dane's obviously new to KU too. So Tobin's probably the one that's maybe a little most excited about this whole thing. But both of them, all of them have talked about sort of the honor and just what it means to represent KU in this manner. And I think they'll all be, number one, really sharp, really good. And number two, really happy to be here. It's exciting. And, if you've done it 2 or 3 times, like some of these coaches, or 10 or 20 times, the excitement's maybe worn off and they get a little tired of it and they just want to get in and out. But for the newbies, the young players that maybe sneak in here for the first time, it's a thrill as long as you don't have a sore throat and you lose your voice by the end of the day like some of them do. So I think it'll be really cool to see their enthusiasm for it.
And Dane Chris as well, a guy, going from the heights at Notre Dame to benched player back to kind of the heights again. A lot of people will be talking to him again on Tuesday too. So looking forward to this for Big 12 Media Days, and also not only looking forward to Big 12 Media Days and talking to these guys, but football season.
Yeah.
It's almost here, halfway through the summer, almost here.
Right. To borrow a Charlie Weiss phrase, look it. This thing starts in 1 week. When KU gets back and they get home and we get through one more weekend, opening ceremonies of the Olympics, that next week it's football season. Practices start. We get new rosters. We get new depth charts. So this is the unofficial kickoff, and let's do it. Let's start rolling.
It's almost here. All right, for Matt Tait, this is Jesse Newell. Thanks for checking out KUsports.com.